Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I am super excited for you guys to see. Although it's just a get ready with me, I'm just kind of walking you guys through my makeup, how I put it together, but I'm actually getting ready to leave right now. So I don't want to make this intro too long, but I hope you guys enjoy it. I really am just so obsessed with this eye look and I cannot wait to wear it out. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content and today's video. And with all of that being said, let's just jump into it. So let's go ahead and just dive right on in and start getting ready because I'm on a time crunch. So I am going to start with priming my skin first, even though we're going to do eyeshadow first just to get that out the way. That seems to take me the longest. I am going to prime. That way it has time to like sink into the skin and all of that. So I'm going to start with spraying my face down with a little bit of this. This is the Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1 Replenishing Primer and Setting Spray. And I have not used it, so gonna use it today. So a nice generous amount of that. I don't really smell the peach aspect. It honestly smells like any other Too Faced product. So I'm gonna take the Pure 4-in-1 Correcting Primer. Now this primer I did not know until I read it today, but it actually has AHA in it, and that's an alpha hydroxy acid. So if you do use this primer, make sure that you do have sunscreen on. It's important. I did already apply my sunscreen, so I'm good. So with this primer, I'm just going to apply it all over my face as I normally would. And with this product, you guys can see that it's really adding some illumination to my skin and just really giving it that glowy effect. The last primer I want to go in with is obviously one that's going to kind of blur my pores. So this is the Tatcha Silk Canvas primer, and I'm going to take a little bit of this and just apply it in my T-zone and anywhere else I feel like my pores are like really big, and just kind of try to eliminate them in a way. So when I'm applying this product, I like to use firm pressing motion just to make sure I'm really pressing that product into the pores and into the skin to kind of blur it out. And the benefit of this is not only for your pores, but it also has skincare benefits. So that's like a bonus on top of the skincare that you've already done. So now I am done with primer, but I am gonna go in with my eyeshadow base, but I'm also gonna take this on my scars and stuff on my face right now, just to kind of, how you say it, cover it up basically. And you guys know I love using the Nars Soft Matte, so that's what I'm gonna use. So not only am I using it to prime my skin, but I'm also using it to cancel out the dark marks and spots on the rest of my face. It will not cover texture, so my bumps will still kind of like be visible, which is okay with me, but I do want to cover up the darker spots. So once I have it nice and placed where I want it, as you guys seen, I was not like trying to blend it out with that brush. By the way, that was the Morphe M705. I'm now going to take the Sephora number 57 brush, and I'm just going to use this to lightly buff and blend the concealer. So I'm just taking it lightly in circular motions and just buffing and blending it out, and just making sure that the product is concealed, or that the marks are concealed. You know, it just adds that extra layer of coverage underneath the foundation once we get to that step. You guys could use an actual color corrector, but I really love this concealer because of the thick texture, but it's not like super thick where it's cakey. It's thick enough but thin enough at the same time to just go underneath your foundation without being too much. So as you can see, it covered up a lot of the dark marks and everything that was on my face. You could use this as like a routine in a way to do like that no makeup type of look. All you have to really do is set it down with a little bit of powder and just add your bronzer, blush, highlight if you chose, and that's really it. But of course, we're gonna do a full beat. Now that that's done, I am gonna move to my eyes and just kind of prime them real quickly, set them with a little bit of powder, and then we can move into the eyeshadow. Let's talk about eyeshadow palettes. So I decided to dig deep in my drawer and pull out a palette I used to be so obsessed with, and I want to use it today. So this is the Dose of Colors Foundation palette from Desi and Katie that was launched a while ago. So this is an older palette, but I still love it, still love the colors. And yes, I know I'm wearing yellow, but I'm thinking to use the green in this palette just because it has like a green gold shift. So I really want to use that, but I am gonna start light, and I'm gonna grab my blending brush, and I'm gonna take the shade right here, which I will have the names on the screen for you guys because I don't know these by heart. It is on the back, but it's a lot of work. So I'm gonna dip my brush into here very generously, and then just brush this in the crease to start. So I'm not going to put too much of this shadow in the crease in the beginning. I just really want a nice transition and base, and just to start building some color in my crease area. So now I'm gonna take a little bit of this one. This one is actually called Churro, and I'm taking it on a JH40, which is the same thing as an M506 or M507. And normally you guys see me use this brush for my outer corner the most, but today I'm actually gonna use it to get right in the crease with this color. And I may go in with a secondary brush just to further blend it out, but this will help me get like really precise in my crease. And I'm taking short circular motions to really brush this product on and blend it out. Now that we've somewhat defined our crease, I'm gonna take this Kenzie blending brush, which can be found at TJ Maxx, Marshalls, you know, those type of stores, and just blend out these two shadows together. And then once I feel like it's blended out nice enough, I'm gonna take a little bit of the pink shade in the palette called Basic on the same brush, and then run that on top of those two shades as well, just to kind of buff and blend them out even further and kind of take away from the color in a way, like mute it a little bit, because I don't want it to be super intense, but I just want it to, you know, be there, but not really be there, if that makes any sense at all. I don't want it to be really intense, but I do want there to be some definition between this and the shimmer shadow that we will put all over our lid. So kind of as a last minute decision, I've decided to take a little bit of Churro and just kind of buff and blend that on the outer part of my eye. I don't know, last minute decision. If I don't want to, I can always just go on top of it with the shimmer shadow, but just to create a little bit of definition out here, I think it's best that I add just a small amount of Churro and then maybe blend it out a little bit more with the shade called Basic. So when you're done, it should be a little something like this. Now, I really believe that any great eyeshadow look, like just like really good eyeshadow look, not only focuses on the blending, but also with layering different shadows and shades. The more shadows and shades you blend and mix together, potentially the better the eyeshadow look. So again, this is what we have. I'm feeling pretty confident about it. And now I'm gonna go into the green shade called Dirty Money. Now with this shadow, I can go directly in with it, but I could also cut my crease. But to keep things simple and easy and not too hard, I am not gonna cut my crease. I'm actually just gonna grab the JH41, which is a flat definer type brush, and I'm just gonna take that shadow straight from the pan and start gently and very specifically placing it where I want it. So to start off, I'm making sure that I am not placing the shadow too far on the outer corner. I'm just gonna bring it in up until that point where we blended that outer corner color just to see how it looks, and then if I want to, I will just go back in and just add some more all across the lid. So as I was putting that on my lid, I had a little idea. I have two Jaclyn Hill palettes that have green shadows in it. Well, I have more than just these two, but these two are what came to mind. So Top Secret in this palette, and then we also have Potion in this palette, which I believe Potion is lighter than Top Secret. So I'm gonna take a little bit of Potion and just want to see how this is gonna look. If anything, I feel like I can just, again, go over it with the shimmer, but I want to put Potion right here on this outer part. It's doing something for me. I really like that. I know, you guys, this look is kind of taking a turn, but in a good way. So I'm gonna take another clean blending brush just to kind of blend out here. So I'm gonna pack a little bit more of Potion on to the outer corner. Might have done something there. I like it. I like it a lot, actually. So again, I'm just gonna focus on blending this out and just making this seamless. And I actually think I'm gonna throw a little bit of yellow like in the crease just to give the look that hint of yellow, but not do too much because I can always focus the yellow on the lower lash line later on. So the yellow I'm gonna use is called Access. This one is actually in the Armed and Gorgeous palette. And I'm just gonna take a little bit of that on the same brush and just use that lightly in the crease and just kind of buff and blend this color all the way up to the brow bone. It adds a little something and nothing all at the same time. Just, I don't know, it rounds out the look to me because it's incorporating the yellow, even though we have the green, we have a little bit of brown, so it's definitely very fall. And I'm all here for it. So for mascara, I am gonna use the L'Oreal Telescopic, and for my lashes, I'm gonna put on Level Up from Unscripted Beauty. So I'm gonna do that really quickly off camera, as well as finish this eye over here, and then we'll be back to start on the base makeup. Now that my lashes are on, I'm gonna move into foundation, and I'm gonna take this one right here. This is the Nars Soft Matte Complete Foundation, and I have the shade Syracuse, and I have some of it on the back of my hand, just tapping my sponge into the product and then going to just start placing it on my face. This product has proven to last for a while. I would say 8 hours plus, considering that's how long I wore it for in my wear test. So I definitely didn't even hesitate to pick this product to use for today because I don't know how long we're gonna be out, and you know, time just seems to slip by when you're having a good time. So I wanna make sure I'm wearing something that's gonna last. Now that our foundation has been laid down very nicely, looks really good, I'm gonna go in with concealer. If you guys seen my previous video, then you know that I used this concealer for the first time in a long time, and I was concerned because it did cause a little bit of like a tingly burning, but not really burning, more tingly sensation. It was really weird, but overall the coverage and the way that the concealer looked overall just was very flawless. So I'm gonna go ahead and use it again just because I know I'm using different products this time, so maybe, just maybe, it was the products that I used before it. So I'm gonna apply it to just this one part of my face and then blend it in, and then go ahead and apply it to here and there when I'm done blending this side out. To blend this out, I'm actually gonna go ahead and use my e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. I love this for blending out concealer. And although I'm not letting this concealer really sit as much as I normally would any other one, it still does a great job with blending out the concealer in general. You don't have to let it sit in order to use this brush. So I'm just gonna use this at first, just for a more precise application of the concealer and blending it out. And then I'll probably just go back on top of it with the sponge just to, again, make sure it's fully blended out and it seeps into the skin. So this side of my face has concealer and this one doesn't. I don't think I'm loving this concealer with this foundation, but we're gonna work with it. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this to the other side the same way. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out, just like make sure it's all blended into the skin and everything with my sponge. But looking at the concealer with this foundation, I don't feel like it's full coverage. I don't know if I mentioned that in the last video or not. I mean, I will say in my last makeup look, it looked flawless with that foundation, which is obviously their foundation that is, I guess, supposed to go with that concealer. But to use it with this foundation, I'm not really loving. So to say that I would never use it again is not something I would say, because I just wouldn't use it with this like foundation. So I am gonna go in with a little bit of the Nars concealer just for a little bit of extra coverage underneath my eyes, and really just, I don't know, just like cover it a little better, just because I'm not fully into the concealer with this specific foundation. So I do like this a lot better. Now we're gonna jump into cream contour. I'm gonna use the Huda Beauty. This is their Tantour in the shade Fair. You guys know I can get away with using this as a cream contour, but once I apply my powder and everything, sometimes it does override the cream contour that I did slightly. So just to re-intensify it, I just go back in with a powder contour. So that's really not a big deal to me, but if you don't want to use too many products, you can definitely opt to get a deeper shade if you are my skin tone or darker. So I'm just using this brush and using pressing motions, and as you guys can see, like, it's faint, but it's there, and it's just, I don't know, something about it, I really do enjoy using it, and I feel like it just adds the right element of depth to my skin, because naturally our skin does have shadows around our face. So I'm just really just trying to put that back on, if that makes any sense, instead of our skin being one toned. And of course, there's nothing wrong with just like going back over all of your cream contour with the sponge, just to really press it in and make sure it's blended out. So now that we have that, I'm actually gonna take the e.l.f. Flawless concealer brush that I was using to blend out my concealer, and I'm gonna blend this nose contour that I did. It's very light, you can't really see it too much, but I put a little bit on my nose. So I'm just gonna go over it with the concealer brush. So now that that's done, we can move into setting our face and get into these powder products. So to set, I'm gonna use Huda Beauty's setting powder, and I have mine in the shade Banana Bread. So this is the one I like to use, and I'm just gonna put a little bit in the lid because I don't need too much. And then I'm gonna take my e.l.f. sponge, and I'm gonna use this to just like set underneath my eyes, my T-zone, and all the places that I put the concealer. Now real quickly, just to mattify other areas of my face, I'm gonna take a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish powder and just press this into my skin, like on the perimeter of my face. Not so much the under eyes, but it's okay if like I press it up in here. It's perfectly fine. And then I'm just gonna kind of buff it out. And now we have a whole set face of powder. So yes, we used these powders, and obviously to refresh my face, I do like to take the Colourpop Hyaluronic Setting Mist. You guys know I love, look at this. I'm almost done. I use this every single time faithfully when I do my makeup, no ifs, ands, or buts. So I'm gonna spray this. So let's go ahead and finish out the under eyes. I want to take the Dose of Colors Friendcation palette again, and I'm gonna take a mixture between this shade right here, which is the first one you used, called Necessary, and a little bit of Churro over here, and I'm gonna buff and blend that underneath on my lower lash line to start. So just a very small amount. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab the Jaclyn Hill palettes that we used, and we're gonna go in with the green shade that we used called Potion first. And I'm really going to buff and blend this color as well. And I really want it to basically show up underneath the eyes. it's not something that I want to be like real subtle about. So I'm gonna make sure that I'm putting a decent amount of this shadow underneath here. So I'm really making sure that I am packing this shadow on deeply. And by deeply, I mean I'm constantly going into the pan and just grabbing more and more because I really want it to show. So I'm just really making sure I'm doing the most, getting the most from this shadow because I want the green to be there. And that seems to be good enough. Now, finally, we are gonna go into the last palette that we used, which is the Armed and Gorgeous. And I'm gonna take Access, which is the yellow right here that we used. And I'm going to blend this out underneath as well and just kind of drag down that green a little bit. So I'm gonna actually use this brush from the Naked Honey palette from Urban Decay on the bigger side and just buff and blend this under here. I don't know about you, but it's definitely the eyeshadow for me. I am obsessed. Now, I am gonna apply liner. The one I'm gonna use is from Physicians Formula. This is their Shimmer Strips eyeliner, and it is in the shade Smoky Nude Eyes, which is like a golden yellow, but more gold type of eyeliner to just add a little bit more definition. I'm gonna go ahead and use the ABH Bronzer in Saddle. I think this is perfect for a contour shade instead of a bronzer shade for me. So I just like to use this just to kind of re-intensify what we already did with the cream product. And it works out perfectly. So I'm just gonna add this to the perimeters of my face, my cheekbones, and everywhere else that I put that cream product. So for bronzer, I'm just gonna go ahead and pop on a little bit of my M.A.C Give Me Sun bronzer. And this is like perfect for summer, but I don't mind using it for fall either. I'm just gonna put a little bit on, try not to go overboard. So for blush, I'm gonna go ahead and pop on a little bit of Always Cheeky from e.l.f. This is their Primer Infused blush. I am new to it, but I really do like it, and I want to get other like shades of this blush just because it's that good. But this one should be doable for today. And once we're done with blush, we're gonna pop on a little bit of highlight. I don't want to do too much highlight just because I feel like for it to be more of a fall look, highlight just sometimes can look too summery. So I'm gonna be very, very light-handed with this. Not that I'm not into a good highlighter, but I just don't want too much to where it looks summery because, girl, it's fall. So I just had this idea just to place a little bit of access in my inner corner of my eye instead of like an actual highlight. So let's see what this is giving us. Oh yeah, that's definitely doable. It's definitely the eyes for me today, you guys. I am all here for it. And I didn't even pre-plan this or nothing. Like, I knew I wanted to use the green shadow in the palette, but I did not know this would be the outcome. Oh yes. It's the eyes, it's the eyes, it's the eyes. All right, so my hair is down. I took it down from that half up, half down, but I am gonna put it back up. I just want to kind of redo it a little bit. Nothing too neat, but also not too sloppy. I want to add a little bit of like bangs or whatever in the front, just to give it a little bit of style. So I'm going to brush this back up. Like that and like that. So that's our hair. Quick fix, nothing too serious. All right, so let's get into this lip choice. So for my lips, I do have a liner I want to use. This is the NYX Slide On Glide On pencil, and the shade is Sugar Glass. So I'm gonna just take this and line my lips. I've learned that I need to be patient when doing this in order for my lip to turn out like really good. So yeah, I'm gonna line my lips. So now that I have my lips lined, I can grab my liquid lipstick. Now I brought out a couple of choices because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to use. I have this one from Dose of Colors. I also have this one from Dose of Colors. So this is Sand and this one is Knock on Wood. And then I also have these two from L'Oreal. This one's more of like a mauve-y purple, which probably really wouldn't go. This is like a nude, which would obviously go. Let's try Knock on Wood. Yeah, because I'm always doing nudes, so let's try something different. This is like a Your Lips But Better color as well, but more on the brown spectrum of things versus pink. So that's just Knock on Wood. I'm gonna take a little bit of Sand since it is a little bit lighter, and I'm gonna put it in the center. All right, you guys, so this here is the finished and final look. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. As always, again, I am gonna say it is the eyeshadow for me. I'm just so obsessed with the way that this eye look came out. It honestly was like a spur of the moment decision to grab the Jaclyn Hill palettes and incorporate those shadows into this look, and I feel like that's what mostly contributed to the way that it came out. Just the dimension. Even though it's the same like shade family, we're still using greens. It just really worked well together and came out very nicely. So I really do like it. You guys could add a wing, spice it up, take away things, add things, you know, make it your own. It's fine with me, but I'm really obsessed with the way that it came out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comment section what is your favorite part of today's look, and I will talk to you guys later. I do have to run, I have to go, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love you, and I'll catch you guys in the next upload.